We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order of the MPO for Thursday, February 9th, 2023. I'll go ahead and call the roll. John Dennis.
Present.
Tracy Brown. Tracy, I'm calling the roll. Tracy Brown.
Here.
Thank you. Larry Leverett.
Here.
Perry Brown.
Here.
Gerald Thomas.
Here.
Cindy Murray.
Here.
Julie Ginn. It says that she's going to be here. Julie, are you on? Okay, evidently not. Shane Spears.
Present.
So do we have looks like we have enough for a quorum.
Yes, we do.
All right, thank you. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the January 12th, 2023 meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any changes, or corrections, or Scribner's errors? Hearing none, we'll conduct a roll call vote on the minutes. Mayor Dennis.
Aye.
Tracy Brown.
Aye.
Larry Leverett.
Aye.
Perry Brown.
Aye.
Gerald Thomas. Okay, thank you. Looks like your mic is muted, Gerald, but we see your hand.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay. Cindy Murray.
Aye.
And Shane Spears.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The next item on the agenda is an administrative modification for the 2022-2026 Transportation Improvement Program, and Doug will be presenting on that.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we do or have done in the past, if we process a modification to the Transportation Improvement Program, we bring this up to this committee the following meeting, and we did process one. And basically, this is a very forward and simple modification in that several months ago, NDOT gave us our federal funding marks, and in the monthly report, they shown two new federal funding programs, carbon reduction and protect funding categories. These are new out of the new transportation legislation, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Well, instead of giving us additional funding, what they did was pull out funds for these two programs for our STBG funds. So basically what we did was we pulled the funds out of the STBG funds and put them into these two programs to match NDOT's information. And we did this to align up with the information that central office gave us. So it's fairly simple, straightforward, and just basically a bookkeeping update. So any questions or comments that I can answer?
All right, thank you, Doug. We appreciate that. As the board knows, it's just the role for them to bring this to our attention. This doesn't actually require a vote of the board. With that, we're going to move to the ACPC progress report and the MPO update. We have looks like Area first, and then David. At this point, Cindy and I are going to step into my conference room to swear this person in, and Cindy do the paperwork, and then we'll be right back. So Mayor Dennis, can you take over if there's anything necessary?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. We will be right back.
Okay. So go ahead, Doug. We're at the progress report.
Doing
Doug?
We actually have Aria who's going to give the next item.
Okay, Aria.
All right. So I believe that we need to reschedule our March meeting. It's my understanding that there's a conflict for the mayors here. So I proposed, instead of our expected meeting on the, let's see, I think the 9th of March, that we instead meet on the 16th of March. If that will work for everybody for the next meeting.
I believe so. Check my calendar. Saying the 16th.
Yeah, March 16th at 2
Yep.
p.m.
I'm here. Yes.
Okay. So we'll send out a meeting invite for that meeting. But we just wanted to make sure everybody was on board with that. So thank you.
Next on the agenda is the APC progress report, and that will be you, Doug.
Well,
Well,
actually,
we have one item in between. David's going to give us an update on some passenger rail happenings.
Okay, great. I don't see that on my agenda, but bring it on.
Thank you. I'm going to make this as quick as possible. There's with the passage of the bipartisan infrastructure law, there is an unprecedented level of funding available nationally, but outside of the Northeast corridor for passenger rail service expansion, bolstering, improvement, what have you. With that in mind, a group of Lafayette area stakeholders met with the economic development folks from the city of Lafayette and with Amtrak a couple months ago. And from that, we formed a group that is going to be looking further into the possibility of going after some of that funding. And since then, the idea has really taken off amongst other MPOs, metropolitan planning organizations through the state. And we've met with INDOT's multimodal department, which is in charge of statewide passenger rail activity, and they're very, I think, enthused by the level of enthusiasm that is being shown at the local level by the MPOs. So where we are is that there will be an effort to dramatically enhance the viability, performance, experience of passenger rail along a path from Louisville up to Chicago, or more specifically up to Dyer, Indiana. Obviously, our concern is the Indianapolis to Chicago route, and what would happen if you're looking at pure numbers is that you would take what would have been a 3.5 to 4 hour trip, subject to all kinds of problems and infirmities, and turn that into a very reasonable 2.5 hour trip, Indy to Chicago, with a lot more trains, a lot more stops, and much better service. We are looking at submitting 2 applications, one for the lower leg, the southern leg, Louisville to Indianapolis. That would be under the auspices of the Louisville Metro MPO, which is an acronym of CERPD, I think. And then the other one, which would be under the auspices of INDOT, kind of partnering with us, which would be from Indianapolis up to near Chicago, the Dyer station in Indiana. Those are going to be due April 7th, and this is all kind of developing very quickly because we didn't realize that there would be such unanimous enthusiasm amongst the MPOs along the route, but thankfully there is. And we didn't realize that there would be such enthusiasm for this from the multimodal crew at INDOT, but there is. So again, this is moving quickly, and we're kind of going along with this, to the extent that our staff is not terribly familiar with passenger rail service, we're learning quickly, and we'll be updating, I think, periodically as this moves along. That was a rambling message, but I hope that I got a little something across to you. And if you might have any questions, let me know. Tim, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, maybe just something real quick. So I think, like David highlighted, really the most exciting thing about this is how many different organizations are involved in it, and how really unanimous the buy-in has been from everyone. We have a lot of people that really see the value of this, and it really aligns very well with some of the goals set out in our Metropolitan Transportation Plan. So we're really glad to see the groundswell of support that we've gotten for this, and we have, I think, a lot of good people involved in this. Not only planning organizations, but also several elected officials have expressed their support for this as well, including state legislatures. So I think we're really in a good position to be able to be pretty competitive for some of this unprecedented level of funding. And like David said, more updates will come as events warrant.
Well, great. Well, thank you. I'm back. Thank you. And Cindy is back. Thank you, Mayor Dennis. Shane, do you have anything that you'd like to add from the state and NDOT's perspective on this?
No, I think David's got more detail than I had. Some high level detail about a week ago. But I think David probably laid out more than I know. So I think there's, like he had said, my understanding is there's federal funding available, and I think everybody was interested in at least studying those corridors, is how I understood it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Well, it is exciting. Certainly our community is very interested in potentially being a part of this and what that can mean. We worked on it, several years ago, and this looks like it might be a strong opportunity. So thank you, everyone who is working on this very important program. Next item on the agenda is the 2024-2028 Transportation Improvement Program Development Update, and Doug will be handling that presentation.
Again, good afternoon. I'd like to bring the committee members up regarding the development of the Transportation Improvement Program. And again, this document is where we allocate our federal gas tax funds for the next 5 years. At the January Technical Transportation Committee, the committee members looked at the allocation of funds, whether they be for STBG funds, transportation alternative funds, safety funds, and compared those to projects that are currently in the works and projects that the engineers would like to get started. And the good news is that we do have enough federal funds to pay for the construction of the big three projects. That is, for Lafayette, the South 9th Street project; for West Lafayette, the first phase of the Soldiers Home Road project; and then for both phases for the county for the Morehouse Road project. So that's the good news. We do have enough funds to do those big three. We also had a little extra funds to do some things with these other project requests, and we decided to use our safety funds to move forward with a signal in emergency vehicle preemption project for traffic signals for Lafayette. And then when we had our meeting specifically with that discussion, there were enough funds to actually increase the project scope to include the city of West Lafayette. So it's a great project. It's one of the 25 programmatic projects that NDOT's safety funds or committee look at and recommend. So that's good news. Another is that we had some residual STBG funds that we could use or obligate to other projects, and the decision was to move forward and work on the first project of the Big Four Trail in the city of Lafayette. So overall, we got a lot going on, and we were able to fund a lot of projects. Since that meeting, we worked on putting together the draft document. And the additional good news is that it was finished this morning and we rolled it out. It is now available on our website. And we do have a paper copy here. And if anybody would like a paper copy, we can certainly provide that or the link to the website. And then we also submitted it to NDOT, their central office folk, for their review. So the document is moving forward and we're very excited where we're at right now. We are actually 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Coming up in March, we will have our public meeting. It's a joint meeting between this and our Citizens Participation Committee meeting. And we will start moving through the adoption process beginning in April and hopefully bring the document to you in May. Are there any questions or comments?
All right, any questions for Doug? That's all sounds very, very positive. That's good news. All right, well, we'll move on to the next agenda item. That is the census urban area boundary comparison. Sounds like, and Doug, you're going to be handling that one also.
Yes, at the January meeting, we presented information regarding the population for the urban area. And of course, if you remember, the 2020 urban area population was a pinch over 175,000 persons, which seems puzzling in that it only grew by 10,000 persons since the 2010 census. And since then, we've been looking for a map to see what actually is the urban area, or at least the new one. And we came across one actually under the Federal Transit Administration. And this is a map from them. Kind of give you an idea of what the colors are. The light or the dark pink is the areas that are both within the 2010 and 2020 census. The light pink includes brand new areas that are just in the 2020 census. And then if you look, you will notice a green shaded area. Those were in only the 2010 census. So, you know, the most puzzling thing when you look at this map is the town of Battleground is no longer considered to be in our urban area, which is rather puzzling, but that would partially explain why our 2020 urban area population did not grow as much. So fresh information hot off the grill. We'd like to, or just present it to you and show you exactly what it is. We do have this on a GIS line file. So if there's any requests in terms of doing some comparisons with city boundaries or whatnot, we will be more than glad to provide that information. So any questions or comments?
Doug, Tracy Brown, I do have a question. This is tied to one of our ordinances that I think it's our fireworks ordinance that we only have in place within these boundaries. So we'll need to update that. But I'm curious, is there any way to find why Battleground from? I mean, is it likely because they outlaw that because they changed the definition of the numbers required to get in that boundary, I would guess?
I think you hit the nail on the head in that
Or the threshold, maybe?
Changed the formula in how they calculate what is in and what is not in the urban area. We did not really go into a deep dive and look at the specific details, but I suspect we will probably do that to try to figure out why the town was not included. So, and if you like that urban area boundary, that GIS file, we certainly are more than glad to share it.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Because Doug, just for clarification, it was included in the 2010, but not in the 2020. Is that correct?
You are correct, Mayor.
Okay, so it was actually left out. All right. Thank you. Next item is the federal funding obligation, and that'll be Doug also.
Of course, around this time of the year, once again, we start keeping track of our federal funds to make sure that by the end of the fiscal year, all of them are obligated. And on top, you see the information that NDOT has provided that shows what we have obligated. And then on the bottom, we show by funds and by projects what funds have been obligated and what are still available. And we also put a little table right there. All of the remaining funds are tied to or will be going to the Yeager Road project. The disappointing news is that it was on a January bid letting, and unfortunately, the bids came over roughly $2 million plus, and it has now been rescheduled to a March bid letting. So we and hope and anticipate that in March it does sell, and then if that's the case, we will obligate all of our 2023 federal funds. So just a update and where we stand on obligating all our funds.
Doug, on that project, was there going to be any changes to design or value engineering or anything to try to get that closer so when they rebid, maybe it would make the threshold?
It's my understanding that Stu has been working on that to see what can be done to bring it down, and then also, if my understanding is correct, looked at maybe possibility of using more local funds. Maybe Stu can give a better update than that, but I believe they are looking at what to do.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but I know that's an important project over there, and I was just curious. Okay. All right, any questions for Doug there on that? If not, we'll go to the 18-month letting list. So Doug, look like you're the home run hitter for everything today, just about.
Yes. And again, this is a list of what the projects actually did occur this past January, and then of course looking in the future. And the bid letting results, the first one there, of course, is the Yeager Road project. There were 3 bids submitted. The low bid was from White Construction for $9.4 million. And again, it was moved to a 2023 bid letting. Following that, we have 2 projects on US 231, the installation of auxiliary lanes and overlay project that are combined together. And that project was awarded to Reith Riley Construction for a whopping $15+ million. And that project is estimated to be complete by October 31 of 2025. Wow, that's a long way out. The next project.
Yes. I can't see this because it's too small on my screen. On that project there, what was the parameters of, oh, there, that's helpful. What was the parameters on 230? There I see it from I-74 to State Road 28 and then State Road 20. Okay.
Yes, basically the first one is the most exciting one in that if you've ever driven on 231, there at times you get behind traffic that's really slow or a bunch of truck traffic that you just can't pass. Well, between basically just a pinch north of 28 to I-74 or north of 74, they are going to construct passing areas, and 2 are going to be located here in Tippecanoe County. One on the, if I remember correctly, on the far side, south side of the county, and then I think the other one somewhere around or just south of County Road 800 South, so that if you're traveling either north or south, you'll be able to pass slower traffic. And the other one is basically an overlay project.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you for that clarification.
The next project that was on the bid letting that actually was awarded is repair and place joints on I-65 And then you see the project was awarded and the completion date target is April 15th of 2023. And the last project on the January letting was a district-wide traffic signal modernization that it was not awarded. There was one bid and the low bid was above the engineer's estimate. Now, going back to the first page in February, we do have 3 projects that are on the bid letting, which actually is tomorrow. 2 on State Road 43, and you know those are both related to bridges. And then on State Road 25, this is not the big bridge over the Wabash River, but I believe it's a drainage structure. And then in April, we have 3 more projects on 52. One of those is the construction or involves the construction of acceleration and deceleration and turn lanes at various locations. And then going further down in May, the last projects that will be let in this fiscal year, one on 28 and one on district wide. The one on 28 actually moved from an April to a May bid letting. And then the remaining projects basically on this page and the other page have remained the same. So we can see on the page 2, which Tim just rolled up, 22 and 23, the first Morehouse Road project on a November 2023 bid letting. And then following that in December, Bridge 527, which is on Old US 231. So a lot going on. A lot of construction this year. So, and then coming up the following year. So, any questions or comments?
All right, I don't hear any from anyone. Jane, is there anything else you would like to add to any of that?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay, all right, just wanted to check. All right, anything under other business? We're hearing none. We'll go to the citizen comment portion of the meeting. So I'll ask if we've received any, and if not, that we allow for another minute for folks to have a chance just in case.
Okay, yeah, I am watching that. We currently have no comments at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, it has been 1 minute and I see no public comments on Facebook or YouTube.
All right, thank you very much. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All right. We'll conduct a roll call vote. John Dennis,
Aye.
Tracy Brown,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Harry Brown,
Aye.
Gerald Thomas,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
and Shane Spears.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
See you guys.
All right, take care.
Thank you.